What is going on, guys? Penzik here with the Reaper Airsoft. As always, today I've got a little action cam we're going to do a review on. The guys over at DBPower hooked me up here. The GoPro Hero 3 is kind of, old. It's outdated. It needed to be replaced, and these guys hooked me up. So let me get this thing opened up, check that, and see what it can do. So it is a 4K action cam. It is sold and manufactured by DBPower. It has a 20 megapixel camera, so you can do 20 megapixel pictures. This is with a Sony sensor inside of the unit itself. It's capable of 4K resolution, 170 degree angle, up to 64 gig cards, Wi-Fi, water resistance with the case, and then it's got touchscreen on the back. The reason I chose this one here is because of the 4K. It does 4K and 24 frames. It does the Quad HD, which is the 2K or the 1440 here in 30 frames, 1080p in 60 or 30, and then 720 up to 120 frames per second. It does have some of the lower ones you can go to, but it's kind of no point, if you ask me, in needing, 240 by 360, which is the 480, 640 by 480, which is like standard depth. Not something I really need. Video compression is the H.264, so you're still running your standard video files and everything that you would be for your MP4 format. So we're going to open this up. We're going to see how well it does and all the accessories in it. We're going to see what the camera quality looks like, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison of this one versus the Sony. So since this one can do 1080 at 30 frames per second, or the GoPro does 1080 at 30 frames per second, we'll do a side-by-side video comparison of them to see how well they work. See which one's better. Now, product packaging. Product itself is weighted pretty good. There's a lot of weight and heft here, but this does have a lot of accessories to it. So we're going to see how this one looks and holds up once we get everything out. We're going to see what it all comes with. Get that pulled off. So I guess first we're going to pull out the camera. Little plastic sleeve. We've got one box which is full of some accessories, so let's get that set aside here. We'll do that box there, camera in the middle. And we'll do this box here. And there's stuff in this box as well, so we'll see what else is in here. So, more accessories. So, right off the bat, it looks like it is utilizing the GoPro mounting system, so everything should switch right over and fit with the GoPro as well, which is nice. So that leaves the compatibility option with all the mounts and brackets on my end. Perfect. Housing case, everything else is here. Let's look at the accessories real quick. So we've got some zip ties, some double adhesive pads, a cleaning cloth, and it looks like a cable tie. That way you can tie and strap this thing down. We've got our standard cable, which is the same cable as the GoPros run. I think that's like the USB type B or something like that. And then it looks like there's a couple different tie-down straps itself in that one. Other box, we have an extra battery. These are, how big are these batteries here? 3.8 volt lithium ion, 1200 mAh. So it's not too bad of a battery size. We'll leave that in there. That should give us about an hour, I think, recording on 4K resolution. So standard mount extension piece. Here's one of the angled arm mounts, where it just brings it up, a raised mount, brings it up a little bit. Like I said, these all look like they are GoPro type mounts. There's a longer 90-degree extension, so you can mount this way, but the camera will look that way. What else do we have? We've got a couple female and male screw mounts. That way you can screw them in or get them onto a mounting bracket itself. A short 90-degree extension. Two base plates for the mounts to go into that are double adhesive. And then this one looks like it is like a handlebar mount. That way you can mount it to a handlebar or a bar. So like I said, it's basic primary GoPro mount. Let's get this thing out of its case and see what we can get it to do. So Latch is open. Get that popped out. Alright, so overall weight's not too bad. Maybe a little bit, just a little bit bigger than the GoPro. So you guys can get a side-by-side. Got a tape measure here real quick, so it's not going to be a huge difference there that you're going to notice. So 2" by 2.5" and we'll do just the base of the unit is about 3/4 inch. With the camera lens itself, it's about 1 inch, just over 1 1/4. To where the GoPro is, I want to say 2 1/4, just a little over 2 1/4. About 1 3/4 inches. And then overall thickness, or about 3/4 inch, or 1 1/4 inch. So about almost the same thickness, identical thickness. So it's the same thickness. It's just a little bit bigger overall, about 1/4 inch both ways. So you know, you're not a huge difference there. So button-wise, it looks like we've got 2 buttons on the side here. We've got a Wi-Fi, a power on, a menu button. And then our top record buttons. So let's get that one set aside. Let's turn this thing on. Hold the power button down. Hopefully there's a charge. Boom, lit up. Alright, so, and with this unit, it is a touchscreen unit, they said, with all your settings. So, I don't know how well this is going to pick up. So, alright, we got tutorial. Click this button to switch modes. Alright, click this button to enter menu. Click this button to start recording. Click this change resolution. Slide left and right to change modes. Slide it up and down to change menu. So there's all of our menu selections. Size, WDR. I don't know what WDR is. I'll have to look there, but it looks like we have brightness settings. There's our angle setting. Record audio setting. Motion detection. Date stamp. Image rotation. Time lapse. Gyroscopic. So let's see if there's anything else. So that's back and forth into the menu. There's camera at 20 megapixels. There's date, power. It looks like we can do beeps for sound. Voice prompt. I guess it talks to you too, which is a feature I will probably turn off. So format, version. It says we're on version 7.4/2017, so it looks like it's a newer version. Microphone, so it may be possible for an external microphone. Screensaver, so you can shut off the screen after so long, which is good because airsoft-wise, which is what I'll be using this for, the screen itself is not going to be something that I want on all the time. Okay, so let's do this. Memory stick. Little side panel, it looks like here. Let's pop that open. Alright, so there's our slot for our memory stick. There's our USB charger. And then there is our HDMI out, so the micro HDMI out. So let's go back to the stock one. Let's get out of here. How do I get back? Let's click on that. Menu, there we go. We're set for UHD, frames at 24. Let's throw this bad boy in there this way. I shut it off. Let's turn it back on. So looks like we need to format the memory stick. Now this one I'm not going to format just yet. Let me grab one of the other. Actually, let me dump all these onto the computer. That way I have the videos, and then we'll format the memory stick here. So I have a memory stick. I'm not losing all my data off of the GoPro here. So we'll come back to that and we'll get some side-by-side comparisons set up for the camera itself there. Go into the menu. Yeah, it's not going to sense it just because that needs formatted, it looks like. So I think one of the biggest downfalls that I'm going to dislike about it is a touchscreen camera. And in its case, let me get that locked in. in its case, you can adjust the settings. How responsive is it with the buttons? There we go, powered straight on. No issues there, everything looks good, everything looks clean. What is this? This is going to pull up menu. No, I'm pretty sure this is the Wi-Fi button. It had the Wi-Fi signal on it. So let's hold that down and see if the Wi-Fi kicks on. Yeah, that's the Wi-Fi button. So the Wi-Fi kicked on. Let me refresh. Wi-Fi off. Alright, so... But, yeah, that's, can't really adjust any of the settings without taking out of the case. And with some of the ops we do, we've done them in the rain and the cold, and then you're getting shot at. If you need to change something, you need to make sure it's set before you go in, or else you risk getting it shot at. Alright guys, give me a second here. Let me get it formatted. Let me get a new stick in here, and we'll bring it back up. Alright guys, so we got the VSR10 set up here. I've got to record the audio because I forgot about the case. The case isn't really great with audio. If you have it in the case, of course it protects it really well, but the audio quality will lack. So this one is set up at 4K resolution. We have this downscaled to 1080p because YouTube will not let us show you 4K. 1080p is the highest it has, so we're going to have to downscale it to 1080p. And hopefully it looks a little bit sharper since it's got more pixels crammed down into a smaller resolution. It should end up looking a little bit better here, but we'll go into the 1080p after this. The VSR10 is shooting roughly 600 feet per second with a 2.0, so it's up there. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up. And then with the 1080p, this one is at 60 frames per second. It's a little better when it comes to picking up the BBs if you watch for it slowly, but the BBs are traveling pretty fast and they're white, so it's kind of hard to pick out here. But this will give you an idea of how the camera looks visually when utilizing it. What I'll probably do is run it in like a 1080p 60 frame per second head cam setup, and that should work out extremely well for events and just overall play. Outdoors, it picks up the color and the texture a little bit better. And then here is 720p upscaled to 1080p. That way you guys can get an idea if you're watching 720p full screen on a 1080p image. It's going to be a little fuzzy, it's going to be a little blurry, it doesn't pick up everything quite as nicely. And keep in mind, it's all going to vary on your end how you see it, based off of your monitor, based off of what you can see and what YouTube is actually playing it back as. On higher resolution monitors and directly from the source, it looks a lot better than what you're probably seeing right now. So here is a side-by-side. On the left-hand side is the DBPower 4K camera. On the right-hand side is the GoPro Hero 3 White Edition. Both are set to 1080p, 30 frames per second, because it's the highest the GoPro can handle, and the GoPro is what I've been using for most of the gameplay, most of the footage for the Milsim events, and everything else. The GoPro's a little, as you can see, it's dull, it's not bright, it doesn't pick up the colors that much. It looks like it's an overcast day, and there's just not a lot of vibrant colors to it at all. And it's actually a little fuzzier than the DBPower. The DBPower is a lot brighter. It picks up the color platform a lot better. It picks up the sky a little more clearly than what the GoPro is going to pick it up as. But you can see the huge difference in just clarity from the left to the right there. So I should be using these from now on for the Milsim events and games. And I'll have these set, like I said, at 1080p 60 frames per second instead of the 30. I just wanted to do a side-by-side here of the GoPro. As always, guys, any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. If you could, thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. We'd appreciate it.